Understanding the relative effects of brain damage among human beings. I don't understand. Not like that video we made earlier today. What do you not understand about forgive debt and trespass and love one of the eternal faithful peace? And it doesn't make any sense. You know, what do you not understand about the simplicity of real religion, the intelligence of it? You know. And I sat there and I watched this little girl. She makes these little videos. She made them about Chella Alonzo and all this. She makes them about all these women that are famous and famous celebrities and stuff. And it's cute. And she had the one about Nancy Wilson and I agree. You had to the thing about it is money's not real. Forgive debt and trespass, love one, eternal faithful peace. So doing things irrationally to distract people and make money off of them makes no sense. And giving your time away to make money takes your time away from what's really important, right? Like the one commercial about Smiths, and you get what's really important, and it's like, okay, but what about the people that have to bring you your groceries while you're hanging out with your daughter? Who's hanging out with their daughter? Who's making love to your old lady? Why are you out making love, right? So, and then, we make robots. Okay, but shit. The minute you're gone, I cry. The minute you're gone, I die. Please don't go away too long. The minute you're gone. Now, when you're doing things intelligently, all right, as far as robotics go, okay, robotics would be intelligent in jobs that are harmful to human beings. Okay, so when you have a thing like maybe a sewage plant, okay, or something to do with composting and things and stuff, and like where we have these bugs out that are in the wood piles and stuff, that cause diseases and stuff. And I think the thing that causes the disease is because of our immune systems being broken down by carbon emission poisoning and stress and diminished immune systems. Okay. You understand? So when we have certain things that just might require, more of a robotics presence to do the work, it would be something more in the line of, like maybe, like say if like painting a car, okay, would be done by a robotics machine thing, and so once the paint dries and it's no longer, it dries and it's no longer, where the guy has to be in a suit and and stuff, and it's so there are certain things, okay, even cutting meat like a butcher or something like that, where you wouldn't have to be in Freon all day and cutting it, that could be done by robotics too, okay. Once and then packaged, and then we have it, and then so there are certain things that that's like an art. It's like I understand that, okay, but once you could teach the technology to do it and have it in because the robotics could work in 35 degrees comfortably. Okay. Instead of taking a human who's, it's 98 degrees outside, and then you're going into 35 degrees to cut up the meat to prepare it. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, so certain things, robotics is very intelligent, okay, to sustain our existence, and it's not dehumanizing Allah Akbar or Halil or kosher. Okay. It's just like refrigeration can be part of the new kosher. So when you sacrifice this animal to maintain balance without having to introduce more wolves into the environment to try to eat you, and velociraptors and Jurassic Park, the whatever kingdom. Okay. So when you're an intelligent human being, okay, When you have this thing like they look at it like this is natural selection, this is yada, 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 yada. Okay, right? When you're an intelligent human being like King Solomon and myself, okay, when you assess situations and you look at situations, you understand situations more eternally, more wholly, and more completely, and more rationally, right? You're a very sane and lucid and perfect human being, you know. You're like Job, you know. Okay, so there, some of us, because we are the focal point of perfection and faithful love, and we're not envious or jealous, you know. If ever I would leave you, it would not be in summer. Seeing you in summer, I could never go, right? There are guys that look better than me. Well, maybe they didn't in my prime when I could have been healthy and not abused by perverts. But maybe I could hold my own. But, you know, probably sing it better. But that's irrelevant. Okay? It's absolutely irrelevant. Okay? Hearing somebody sing, somebody might have a better voice, but somebody might sing it more sincerely. And then the person who sings it more sincerely, people would like it better because it's like, I really believe them. I think they mean it. You know, there will be another dream for me. Someone will bring it. I will drink the wine while it is warm and never let you catch me looking at the sun. And after all the loves in my life, I'll be thinking of you and wondering why, right? When Richard Harris sings it, you know, you're like, wow, you know, I've heard Jimmy Webb sing it and he's just not as good of a singer and he knows that. And then when Richard Harris sings it, you know, and Richard Harris he's an actor, okay? He's not the strongest vocalist. But when you listen to MacArthur Park, you know, him sing it, you're like, wow, that's quite lovely. It's beautiful. I like his MacArthur Park better than Donna Summer. Donna Summer's a wonderful singer, right? But I just feel it. But he's an actor. Okay. And he has that voice where you go, oh my gosh, you know, like Luciano Pavarotti singing, you know, laugh, count, laugh. Da, da, da. You know, me and Dad were talking about that tonight too. I was recording Free Movement and Ella Fitzgerald tunes to put on the MP3 to listen to out in the barn. And I was telling him just how much I love her voice. And he was talking about, you know, we talked about Luciano, and he said, yeah, and that Josh Groban kid. So, yeah, that kid's voice is wonderful. When me and Amy first tried it, was on Ally McBeal, and it just like totally surprised us. Like, wow, that kid's voice is something, right? It's really special. What was that song? Remember Me on, what was that? Troy. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Yeah, Kiddo's got a good instrument, really good voice. Yeah, I really enjoy it. Yeah. And so, but when you eliminate competition and debt and trespass through competition and egotistical expression and wanting to be famous, okay, being famous is horrible. It completely destroys your existence. It completely destroys your family life. It completely destroys your religious life. Okay, it obliterates it. Okay, you meant for me to lie in green pastures and lie beside still waters. Okay, you don't get that. You know, you don't get that when you become famous. Okay, no, it doesn't happen. No, the places where you think this is happening are fabricated by people like Siddhartha's father. And then Siddhartha goes out into, and his hunger burns. So he charts to roam the streets at night and learns how to steal and he learns how to fight in the ghetto. People don't understand. A child needs a helping hand. He needs the Lord's Prayer. Or he'll grow to be an angry young man someday. Take a look at you and me. That's why Shelby Henry swore Elvis was part black, because he loved us. You couldn't argue with them. No. Slowly I turned, step by step. Get us our Houston Oilers back. And Elvis is part black and he loves us. And that's what Shelby thought. And that's Shelby's world. And don't try to fuck with Shelby's world, because that gives him comfort from him dying from diabetes, from stress and abuse, and working as a car detailer with chemicals that make people's cars look real good for egomaniacs, but kill the people that work on them. And we don't need your cars to look good. It's a mule. It's a fucking mule. Okay? Your car doesn't need to shine. It needs to work right. Okay? It needs to work good. It don't need shiny tires, as long as they work good. It don't need no shiny chrome. Where's your priorities? Remember Lawrence Benegas? The kid's sitting there in no diapers, got a bit of diaper rash. Yeah, but the lowrider's all chrome. Where's your priorities? I remember when I used to see you jumping rope, up and down, baby. Right? Now I was young and I didn't understand. Now you're a woman and I'm a man. Right? And now I know what girls are made for kissing. Why? So the babies don't have diaper rash and the little bums are taken care of. And if they get a bean stuck up their nose after you go to the first time to the emergency room, this last time you know how to do it at home, right? Jordan, you got a pinto bean up your nose, yeah. Kids, what were you thinking? Wait, let me guess. You were listening to Joe Piscopo and Billy Crystal. I hate when I do that. Remember that time you took a replica statue of the Statue of Liberty and stuck it up your nose and whacked it with a ball-peen hammer? Yeah, I know what you mean. I hate when I do that. Like that time you stapled bologna to your face? That's so stupid. It was. Yeah, Bob used to crack up on that one. It was funny. We loved that album. You look marvelous. Wonderful. Marvelous. Here, hold this while I tango. Oh, and it says Howard Cosell for sports beat with Marvelous Marvin Hamlish Hagler. He hit you over right hand right there. That shit was so funny. Oh, me and Steve would laugh our asses off. We're like, oh, most it was because other kids. Well, yeah, it was back in the 80s, so most kids knew. They grew up watching Monday Night Football, and this is Howard Cosell. All grew up with Howard Cosell, right? So we all grew up with Howard Cosell, yeah, and that's the Muhammad Ali against Smoking Joe Frazier and the Thriller in Manila. He was very dramatic. So we all knew my parents hated him. They hated Howard Cosell. He's an idiot. A lot of people, I don't know, a lot of people had to like him. Or maybe it was more like a Howard Stern or something. I don't know. But no, in a lot of ways, in that goofy shit that they used to do, when Muhammad Ali was abused financially for his stance against the Vietnam War, one of the people that financially helped Muhammad Ali and his family and helped Muhammad Ali get his career back up to where he could provide for his family, because we were insane back then and believed Buddy was real and fight like hell for it. It was Howard Cosell. Yeah. Those black guys that a lot like Keith Elam with "Oh Nelly," right? Yes, sir, right? The white man that called the black men sir on national television. Yeah, that was a beautiful thing. I don't think a lot of people realize that. You had parts in the country where he went and listened to stories and all that stuff, where people would take young black people and murder them if they looked at a black woman and they would not call a black man. Who was it was telling me that? I was watching one of those stories, and the guy sit there and said that can't remember who it was. I was watching a thing on it where he said, my dad gave me the money to play this white man, and I touched him, and he beat the hell out of me because I touched him, right? The white man beat the hell out of him because he touched him. Right? his dad didn't want to, because he was scared of the man, so he gave it to his son, thinking, that maybe he'll take it easy on a child. It's horrible. I know. It is horrible. Me? No, man. If, my kids were going to encounter someone like that, it's, no, you're going to deal with me. You're going to deal with me, right? And so, with me, it was different, because Noah, my little Noah, beating the hell out of bullies in Cochise County. I had to tell him, I trust the teachers. I understand, but, I know your mother, but no, you got to quit beating the hell out of the bullies. You got to go tell the teacher. If he doesn't quit, I'm going to kick his ass. I'm like my mother. Okay. Patrick with his mom, yeah. No, me and I never kicked bullies' asses when they were bullying. Okay, when it got, it was always when it was something that could be, uh, you know, when that man talked about sodomizing Rodney with a pipe and was doing things, and I'm like, you're gonna get your girl fired and stuff. That's when I got like, hey, And then he sat there and he said, well, you're just, because you're the boyfriend. And he said, I'm from New Mexico. It's not like that, bro. This is my, but it's like, I think Sal does protest too much because you trying to go back to prison. You got a beautiful woman here and you act like you want to go fuck guys like him in prison. I didn't realize it. So that's how intelligent I am. You ask the people of Fort Huachuca, which they should have known before they took me to Cochise County. But should have. Oh, did you get to go to the game film and the tape? Okay, should have known this was going to happen, right? He's been doing it before he was 17, right? Okay. So, but that's what I just assessed the situation and then told him about himself. And I didn't realize I'm embarrassed. That's why I used to tell Patrick, you got to give them a little room. Don't embarrass them to the point where it's like they have no room where you just totally just. But when someone was doing I understand Patrick and I understand me. I didn't understand the situation. He was so vicious and stupid. And I just evaluated it for him real quick and then went, shit. And then I'm like, but I'm not Sheldon. Okay. You do what you say you're going to do and you try to, you're going to get your ass so fucking kicked, it's not even going to be funny. And he knew it. He knew, bam, bam, wow, what happened? He couldn't lay, like the whole thing with, I'm sure Steph Curry would have loved watching me play basketball. And I would have been one of his favorite basketball players. And then he would tell people, oh no, I was, Earl quit after 4 years and I'm really good, but I'm not as good as sweet old what was his name again? The Johnson kid that Natalie had a crush on and Dad liked so much. Nico. When he sat there and said about his dad, and he was doing it because his dad was humble, but they were talking about with the young John Stockton's kid and stuff like that. No, my dad was an amazing athlete and a spectacular dunker and stuff. And no, my John Stockton was a better basketball player than my dad. Okay, he was a better basketball player. My dad was an amazing athlete and could dunk on anybody and everybody. And yeah, but no, John Stockton was this amazing passer, real good defender. He could do more things in the basketball court to make himself a better basketball player over time than my dad. Maybe some of Joey Johnson's skills were almost detrimental to his ability because he was so, I don't know. It happens with some guys. But some guys have some real spectacular talents, but they're not. And that's what I think Steph Curry would have been like, oh, no, I'm really good. But Earl, he was faster than anybody on the planet, and he could jump as high as he needed to. And, when people came out on him, and he could just sit there, and he was so good at gauging, where and when, and he practiced it all the time, that when someone came at him that was 7 foot tall with a 7'6" wingspan, he would just jump straight up, didn't have to do the ball fake, and just knew he let go of it and that he was high enough that he could put it right over the guy's arm and it would go swish. And he didn't have to see it go in. He knew it was going in. I got it from my dad. My dad told me about the things when we talked about Dennis and his shooting percentage. And I said, and he said, well, you have to do this. And as soon as he said the thing about gunfighting, it's not the fastest, it's the one who aims. So then when I practiced, me and my dad went through it analytically, and I practiced it. And then so the two that helped me shoot the best with because I could attack. The thing that made me such an amazing, well, was my athletic gifts, but the other thing that made me such an amazing shooter was the fact that I could attack the rim and I had such amazing athleticism. I could jump higher than most people and I was faster. Okay. So you had to take that away, and then I could stop on a dime, jump, step back, and aim and shoot. And I was real good at aiming and shooting. And two of the people that helped me do that the best when I realized, because they would try to hurt you, was a man named Larry Bird, because the way he would shoot, his style of shooting, and I was wicked athletic. And then another man that I really enjoyed too, from Michigan, was George Gervin. And he was real skinny, and Mom bought me a poster because he was real skinny and I was real skinny. But they both had this style of shooting when on the move and stuff where the elbow was out here. They could get up, and I could jump as higher than Donovan Mitchell when I would get up and get in the air. And my coach tried to get me, and I was like, no, I can't. When I get that high in the air, I can't do the Dolph Shays. I can do the Dolph Shays, what was the guy's name? Flick it, Chuck. Chuck Goslin shot. Yeah, I could do it. Okay, but I couldn't do it 3.5, 4 feet in the air. When I was 4 feet in the air, I had to have the ball. When I did that shot across the lane that Bob liked so much, the Larry Nance thing, that my elbow was cocked perfectly, but I was sideways to the basket, but I would line my elbow up like I was throwing it down into the garbage can. Bob was so impressed by it. He was like, that's amazing, Earl. You go up in the air, your legs are spread out wide like Larry Nance, and you had the ball in one hand, because of the Garrels brothers putting their shoulders under my junk. But I would jump up in the air, and then I'd be between those two. The one guy was 6'10" or 6'11" with a 7-something wingspan, and Mike was wicked fast and an amazing defensive basketball player. And he was 6'6" and had about a 48-inch vertical. And so I knew I'd have to go when those two were on the same team. I had to cut through the lane like that, jump up, and go between them, and then just aim and throw it down at the basket. And Bob was so amazed by it. And I don't know why Tony Jackson didn't understand it. He was like, nah, it's just, I told people that. I like to play and it's fun, but I play to the level of competition. And if I have to do more spectacular things, not to embarrass, but just to achieve my objectives, just to get my peaches in the basket. Right? And then once my peaches in the basket, I go home. Share, care, given accordance to need, built to last. Yeah, I wonder if this Tallarico guy knows who I am. Mrs. Tallarico did not like me. She accused me and Mrs. Klinger of having an inappropriate relationship. It's like, nothing ever happened between me and Mrs. Klinger. We just had a deep affection for each other because she was a sweet lady and she was really kind and a good teacher. Okay, guys, I love you very much, all right? Peace out.